It's been a tough year in Philadelphia in so many ways, from the stress of the pandemic to the unending gun violence to calls for change in the wake of civil unrest. It's been a lot. In an exclusive one-on-one interview, I spoke with Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney about the issues facing the city and how he hopes to improve it. People in the city not feeling safe here, not feeling like it's a safe place to raise their children, and it's not just the people who live here. What do you think this is doing for tourism, for the families who live just outside of the city but might commute in, or they might want to come in on the weekends, but they don't feel that Philadelphia is a safe place to be?
Philadelphia's Part 1 crimes are down, as in most big cities. The one issue that we're dealing with that's very serious is shootings and homicide. And it's generally in a group of people that are amongst each other. They're warring groups in the city who live in neighborhoods that are impoverished, who feel no hope, who have no opportunity because of all that's going on, or the fact that they haven't gotten a good education and can't get a job that pays a living wage. And they're the ones that are hurting each other. There are just way too many guns in our society and way too many guns in the streets of Philadelphia, despite the valiant efforts of the police department to take these guns off of people's, out of people's waistbands and out of their hands. So we need every tool we can possibly have to fight this.
Do you think that you're visible enough on the ground when these things are happening? Do you think you're interacting with these communities that are affected actually on the ground and in the communities enough?
Well, the problem is my schedule has been curtailed relative to the lack of community meetings, the lack of in-person. I mean, this is not your normal year. 2020 was not in any way normal, and I don't go to crime scenes because I believe the politicians going to crime scenes get in the way.
We were somewhat surprised that you were able to do a one-on-one with me today because they haven't been very easy to come by since you took office. So do you think that that could be stepped up?
Well, we can step that up, but I mean, you have to admit the fact that we've been a little busy. Nothing personal, but I don't necessarily think that doing one-on-ones are more important than dealing with FEMA and helping to set up a mass vaccine site at the convention center and dealing with the things we deal with every day. So I apologize if you feel I've neglected you, but we are working on lots of things.
Well, I don't mean me personally by any means. I think we're hearing this a lot from our viewers, from people in the community.
Where would you suggest I do that at if I can't be one-on-one with people in a large room?
Well, I think a lot of people are calling for you to appear. I know you're saying that you find it to be a distraction to be at crime scenes, but people still want to see you there.
I find it to be against what the medical and science folks are telling us about large gatherings.
So once the pandemic comes to an end, do you plan to step that up?
My schedule will resume.
How long do you think? Years? How many months? How long do you think it'll take for the city to recover from all of the damage done by the pandemic?
I mean, first of all, we have to find out what's coming from Washington, and I'm confident with the Biden-Harris administration to get this done, this $1.9 trillion recovery deal. That'll help replace revenues that the city lost. I'm hoping that within the next 2 years or so, we're back where we were.
Is there any sort of discussion happening, any strategy about what to do about the academic impact of this past year?
Certainly some remedial stuff we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to assess our children when we get them back in full-time school with our test results and the like, and analyze where we've fallen off and what we have to bolster. You know, I wouldn't mind. I'm not saying that would definitely happen, but I would like to see potentially the school year extended. You know, maybe even permanently, that, you know, we go into June or so, but that creates need for air conditioning and other things that some buildings don't have. Commissioner Outlaw has my full support. She's been doing a great job reforming the department, and I think she's a dynamic leader and a historic appointment. She has my full confidence. I think she's a terrific person.
And that report wasn't only critical of the commissioner, it was critical of your leadership as well. It found a failure of leadership and a lack of planning. What do you think about that?
Well, that's her opinion, and you know, she expressed that opinion and published a report, and we read it, and we're moving on. So
you just read it and moved on? Do you disagree with it? What specifically?
Well, I'm not going to go back and forth with you about the controller's report. It says what it says. It's in the public realm, and people can make their own minds.
Well, were any lessons learned? Can we expect anything to change as a result?
The lessons learned was that the level of civil unrest was quite something. The police we're outnumbered during the course of those two days or so of chaos, and we got it under control, and we're building back, and we'll build back better. Everything can go better, and if you're in the arena and you're dealing with it directly, you have to do your best. If you're on the sidelines watching it being critical, it's always easy.
Do you like being mayor? What's your job satisfaction rate at this point?
Well, it's a hard job. It's a difficult job. It has ups and downs. Some days, in pre-pandemic, some days were good and bad. In the pandemic, more days have been bad than good, but we do have some good things that happen and some uplifting things that happen. So yeah, in general, a job like this is difficult when there are so many people who really don't contribute to helping it, but are critical of everything you do.
Are there any other difficult jobs you might be interested in or considering in the next few years?
Not at the moment that I'm willing to talk about.
Now, his political advisor says while Mayor Kenney is focused on the many issues we just discussed, he has had a number of conversations exploring a possible run for U.S. Senate or Pennsylvania governor in 2022.